Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of the Storytime Society. I'm your host Jamie and I'm so happy you're here. I'm so glad you're alive. Thanks for tuning in. The theme of today's episode is updates only. I also have my Coca-Cola Holiday Creamy Vanilla edition. Okay, this is really good. If you guys like Coke Zero, this is so good. I'm sure they have it in the regular version too if you like regular Coke, but so yummy. And I love that it's like a holiday drink because it's giving holiday vibes. Okay, let's get into the first story. The title is My Mother-in-Law, 57 female, doesn't believe that my husband, 30 male, is the father of our baby. I, 32 female, don't know what to do. My husband and I have been together for 4 years, married for 2. My husband is Indian. I am white. I have always gotten along with my mother-in-law. She was warm and welcoming from the beginning, and I really liked her. She was over the moon when we told her that I was pregnant. Our daughter, Sarah, is her first grandchild. While I was pregnant, my husband and I joked together about how the baby might look 100% white. In all seriousness, we both knew she would probably look very white at first and get darker with time. She was born a month ago and does indeed look like any other white baby, but she has a full head of black hair and brown eyes. My husband and I think she's gorgeous. Anyway, my husband and I decided early on that we didn't want any visitors in the hospital while I was giving birth and that we wanted 1 week at home with her before introducing her to family members. We just wanted a little privacy and peace during a crazy time. My mother-in-law wasn't thrilled by this, but she did respect it. She came to our house 3 weeks ago with my father-in-law and sister-in-law. She had a huge grin on her face as she walked in, and I was walking with Sarah in my arms towards her. But when she saw my baby's face, everything changed. She began shrieking, and I mean shrieking, that the baby wasn't my husband's. My husband and I were stunned. The baby started to cry, and everything sort of dissolved into chaos. My husband tried to explain that it's totally normal for the baby to be so pale, but she wouldn't calm down enough to hear him. They all left without any of them even holding the baby. That was weeks ago. In the weeks since, my husband has spoken to her over the phone many times, telling her that he is certain that the baby is his. He even pointed out to her that she herself is light-skinned for an Indian woman, but since my husband is darker, she thinks Sarah should be darker. She has refused to see me or Sarah until we do a paternity test. My husband has no doubts about Sarah being his, but he asked me to do the test for his mother's sake and for Sarah's. He wants her to have a relationship with her grandmother. And I do too. Or I did, but I'm not sure anymore. My family lives very far away, 10 hours by plane, while my husband's family is less than an hour by car. I was counting on my mother-in-law to be a big part of Sarah's life, and she was very excited about spending time with her granddaughter. But now I don't know if I could ever leave Sarah with a woman who can come unhinged so easily. What do I do? Do I swallow my pride and get the test done? Even if I do, how can I trust my mother-in-law's behavior and judgment after this? If I put myself in those shoes, I would say, fuck your mother-in-law. If that were my mother-in-law, I would say absolutely F-U-C-K you to the ground. Like, that would piss me off so bad because who the hell are you to say and accuse me of something that I didn't do, first of all, and like to demand, like, no. I would just be like, you're playing with fire because guess what? Now you don't get to be in my child's life because you are unhinged, crazy, and also like what if she can do this and she can be so irresponsible about bringing it up as well, like the shrieking and like the over the top reaction when seeing your child for the first time is just insane. What is she going to be like, I don't know if I would trust her around my child, and I don't think I would want to have a relationship with someone like that in general. She's just gross. Like, if you want to think that in the privacy of your own mind, okay, go ahead. I can't control that. But to be like so out and loud and boisterous, wait, is that the right word? Is just like crazy. Okay, there's an edit. It says, in case anyone wants more details about her reaction, here's one of my comment replies. You didn't see her. She flew off the handle at the mere sight of my child. She screamed at me. She screamed at my husband. She called me things in Hindi so assaulting that my husband won't tell me what she said. Oh my God, that's actually ridiculous. Downvoted commenter said, yes, get the test. Put your mother-in-law's fears to rest once and for all. This sounds like a cultural thing with your husband and mother-in-law being of East Indian extraction. You knew that when you married him. You knew that before you married him. You now have to deal with that. Mother-in-law didn't come unhinged so easily. This is the percentage of her grandchild. Cut her a bit of slack. Do all you can to preserve family unity. Get the DNA test and be done with it. No. Because why is it my responsibility to manage your reaction and manage the way that you're acting towards something that is completely out of my control? Like, I'm sorry my baby is paler than you thought that she was going to be, but to immediately assume that means that I cheated on my husband and that that's not her baby, and then to be freaking out. It's not even like she said, I mean, regardless, it doesn't matter how she brought it up, because personally I would be extremely offended even if she did like bring it up in a nice way, saying like, are you sure that's like, even that would be like an absolute no. That's like a boundary that I would not be okay with someone crossing, because that's just ridiculous. But that commenter is I understand why they got downvoted, because that's just not how I see it at all. I do not think you should preserve family unity if someone is freaking out and being toxic like that. Okay. All right. This is the update, and it's 2 days later. I want to thank everyone for their advice. Everyone, well, mostly everyone, was very helpful, and it was validating to hear people say that my mother-in-law had behaved badly. Yesterday morning, my mother-in-law called my husband while he was at work. She said she wanted to come back to the house to apologize. I seriously didn't expect that. My husband told her he needed to check with me first. I told him it was fine as long as he and my sister-in-law were there too. So last night, after my husband came home, mother-in-law and sister-in-law came over. I was pretty nervous, but I tried not to show it. Mother-in-law apologized for her behavior. She said she knows that Sarah is her son's daughter and that I am, in her words, a good girl. She said that she's disappointed that we aren't including Indian culture in Sarah's life. We gave her a completely Western name, except the last name, and we didn't have any religious ceremonies for her, including the traditional Hindu baby naming ceremony. I feel I need to tell you all that this was a mutual decision between me and my husband. My husband was born and raised here and is very Westernized. While his given name is very Indian, he has a very Western nickname he prefers to go by. We live in the American South, and he deals with casual and not so casual racism on a regular basis. He has been pulled over by the police repeatedly for looking suspicious and even occasionally harassed at work. He doesn't want that for our daughter, so when we decided on a name, he was clear that giving her an Indian name was not something that he wanted to do. We are also both atheists and didn't want to do the traditional ceremonies from either of our family's religions. Anyway, my mother-in-law said she dealt with the Western name and the lack of ceremony, but when she saw the baby even looked white, she freaked out. She reiterated that she doesn't doubt Sarah's paternity and that she's sorry that she acted that way. She said she very much wants to be a part of Sarah's life. I thanked her for her apology, but I also told her how what she did made me feel. I told her that I had really valued our relationship and had been looking forward to her relationship with Sarah, but that I'm worried now. I told her she behaved in a way that made me question her ability to spend time with Sarah alone. But, I said, if she wanted to, she could prove to me that this was a one-time incident. I told her that my husband and I discussed letting Sarah stay with her 1 weekend a month when she gets older. On these weekends, my mother-in-law would be more than welcome to take Sarah to her temple and teach her all about Indian culture and Hindu religion if she wanted to. However, as of now, that is no longer the plan. If my mother-in-law wants that privilege back, she needs to behave like an adult and treat both of us with respect. She agreed and told us that she loves us both. We hugged and she cried a little. She asked to see the baby and cried full on when she held her. She cooed at her in Hindi. My husband said it was all sweet things and promised us that she would earn our trust back. She then asked if we would reconsider the baby naming ceremony. We agreed that if she wanted to plan it, we would do it. We aren't thrilled with that, but we are happy that things are working out. I will be proceeding with caution, but I am optimistic. Her apology was sincere, and it appears not coerced. She won't be left alone with Sarah anytime soon, but if she continues to be warm, loving, and a sane woman we knew her to be before this nonsense, then a year or two down the road, everything will be the way it's supposed to be. Okay, love that for you. See, this, I can ride with this. Like, yes, did I think that she was insane for doing that in the beginning? Yes, absolutely. But her apologizing and owning it and saying that she's willing to like gain the trust back makes me feel a lot better. And I think just like taking it slow and trying to earn, see if she can actually earn their trust back is a perfectly fine way to go about it. And yeah, I agree with I think that when I have kids, like, I am totally okay with, as long as, so I'm not gonna like make my kids be religious like how I was brought up. I mean, I wasn't necessarily made like forced to be religious, but obviously I was born in that community, so it's like, you know, obviously you're going to church, like your parents are teaching you about this, saying that like this is what happened, and then so you just like believe it, especially as a kid, and then you grow up and that's whatever. But like for me, because my boyfriend is atheist, I don't know if he's atheist or agnostic. I think he might be agnostic. I don't know, because he doesn't like deny that there could be something out there. I've talked about this before, but he just can't believe it. So he's like, I wish that there were, and I'm open if there were to be proof, obviously. And honestly, like, I don't know what I would consider myself at this point, guys. I'm still figuring it out, okay? I'm not religious, but I do think that there is something bigger than, I personally don't feel like it's just by coincidence that there's like a freaking universe and galaxies and we're here and there's like, you know, I think there has to be something bigger, but I don't know what the hell that is because I'm literally just a girl. So I'm still figuring that out. But anyways, back to what I was saying, is that I was saying when I have kids, I want to raise them to first and foremost love everybody and just know that like no one thing is the right thing. Like no one religion is the right religion. Like everyone is open to being who they want to be, and like we should all be accepting of everyone. And even if they're not accepting of us, we keep the distance, you know, between those people, but we love them from afar and we're just like open. I want to teach my kids that, like, open to everyone. No one is like not, I don't know how I'm trying to word it, like no one is not normal, if that makes sense. Like everyone is normal. I don't know how I'm wording that, but yeah, basically just like accept everyone, love everyone, and just know that like there's not one thing. But I do, if they're wanting to learn, or if other people, like my mom, I'm sure is going to want to teach them about Jesus, which is totally fine if she wants to teach them about that. I just don't want her to be like, this is the right thing, this is what's like real, and this is what you have to believe. I don't want that to be how she goes about it. I just want her to be like, this is what I believe, and this is how I, you know, practice that, and this is the teachings and all of that. And then like my boyfriend's side of the family is Jewish, so if my mother-in-law wants to teach about the Jewish God and the Jewish, I don't know what they're called, the Jewish Bible, what is it called? I forget. I don't even know. But yeah, if she wants to teach about that, as long as she doesn't say like, this is what's real and this is what's right, this is the only religion that's right, that's just the thing that I'm going to have boundaries with. It's like, I want my kid to be able to choose what they believe and choose who they are and how they believe it. I don't want anyone to be like forcing them to believe something. Whatever. You get it. Because I do want, like, we're going to still do like Jewish traditions and celebrate like the Jewish holidays and like stuff like that, because I think that it's like part of their culture, and I think that it will be, I don't know, I like to celebrate the Jewish holidays with my boyfriend's family, and I think that it's like a cool experience to learn about. So yeah, but we're also going to do Christmas, and we'll do Christmas, we'll do Hanukkah, we'll do all of everything. Okay, someone said, does your husband speak Hindi? I would suggest, because my parents never taught me a second language, that you have your daughter learn Hindi. And OP said, my husband understands Hindi but cannot speak it. We will be teaching her Spanish because it will come in handy more often, and we both speak Spanish to a degree. How does that work? How can you understand something but not speak it? Like, I always wonder that. How can you understand it but not be able to speak it? That's so interesting how the brain works. Someone said, thank God she came to her senses. It seemed hard on you that you thought you had a good relationship with her and then she went nuts. Some extremely outside advice: talk with your husband some more about giving his daughter a completely Western upbringing. I've seen on this sub, Google cannot agree with names for our unborn son, and read comments on Arun Bradley Smith, and in real life mixed children raised white who grew up to be quite angry that they didn't know anything about their heritage, going so far as to adopt new names for themselves. Your husband is reacting to his childhood. You might be going too far the other way. I know you live in the South and that's hard, but when your daughter grows up and goes off to college with kids of her background who seem more comfortable with both, she might feel like she missed out. Your mother-in-law is probably not the person to entrust with giving her heritage in any case, but it might not hurt to give Sarah some sense of her own background, especially if she ends up being a brownish kid. So real. OP said, the problem here is that my mother-in-law allowed her son to assimilate into Western culture out of guilt. For example, he came home crying one day in kindergarten because he didn't get any Christmas presents, but all of his friends did. So from then on, they celebrated Christmas. My husband barely knows more about the Indian culture than I do. We are ill-equipped to teach our daughter about it, so my mother-in-law will be there, only one who can do it properly. I think this is part of the reason she got so upset. I think she realizes she made a mistake with her children, and I think letting her have this opportunity with Sarah will be good for them. Yeah, I agree with that. I just think that there has to be certain boundaries that you set, and I feel like that's kind of hard because you're not going to be there to like be able to mediate it, and if she were to say certain things, you're not able to like tell her not to. So I guess that's just where trust comes in, and you're trusting her to do the right thing when it comes to that stuff. Someone said, glad everything worked out. Do you guys mind if she teaches your children about Indian culture? Opie said, we don't mind at all as long as she is open and honest about what she involves Sarah in. We have no problem. Okay, we're going to move on to the next story, and the title is 90% positive my sister-in-law, who is currently living with us, stole my wife's dog and gave him to her friend. Hello, everybody. We live in Boise, Idaho. Last week, my wife's pug Banjo was missing from our backyard. My wife hung up flyers everywhere, and through social media, the search for Banjo has been shared throughout multiple states. We have retrieved tons of calls about sightings of a wandering pug near where we live. We've checked, and it hasn't been Banjo. Add a little background. My wife's sister, who is living with us at the moment, has expressed her hate that our dog sleeps in a doghouse outside during spring, summer, and warm days in fall. She believes he should be an inside dog and has always hated that he sleeps in a doghouse. My wife always has her dog inside during the day, but most nights he sleeps in his doghouse outside. Anyways, our dog went missing last Saturday morning and the gate was open. We 100% saw him sleeping outside the night before. Apparently, my wife's sister's friend posted to social media with a picture of a brand new pug she got, which happened to be the night before he went missing. When my wife went to look, the friend and sister-in-law blocked her from their social media. We had someone else try and look to see if it was him, but the post was quickly removed, I guess. My sister-in-law's friends usually come over to our house twice a month, so she knows the dog and our house. The friend hasn't posted any pictures of the dog, but apparently she named the dog Nacho, which sounds decently close to Banjo and would allow him to come to their call. My sister-in-law instantly gets quiet whenever we bring up the Banjo and is seriously acting suspicious at crap. There are some other personal details regarding why we believe she would take them. The sister-in-law and friend are both around 19 and act very immaturely. My wife thinks they are keeping the dog at the boyfriend's house. We found out where he lives, and my wife wants to go on a stakeout to see if we can see if it's him before contacting the police about it. I want to confront the sister-in-law about it, but my wife is worried that if we do, she will tell her friend to move the dog somewhere else to stay out of trouble. My question is, if they really did steal our dog, what can we do about it? Also, any advice would be greatly appreciated. My wife has been so upset this last week and just wants to find her dog. I have a feeling my sister-in-law did take him and gave him to her friend. I just don't want to take action without full-blown proof. We have multiple pictures of Banjo to compare and see if it's him, and also have proof of when we purchased the dog and also the social media post about him missing. I just want to find him and will be really upset if they really did this to us. Thank you for reading. Okay. I mean, obviously, that's fucked up if she did steal the dog. I'm assuming, though, like, as a 19-year-old, she's probably thinking, like, because low-key, do I like that your dog sleeps outside at night? Not really. I don't love that. And I don't know what it's like in Idaho. Everyone always gets Iowa and Idaho confused, but they are very much very different. So I don't know what it's like there, but I know that we have coyotes in Florida, and like I would never feel comfortable with my dog sleeping outside at night because coyotes, they literally be eating animals. They're eating the dogs, they're eating the cats. Like, they do that at night. So I could never. I don't know if there's coyotes in Idaho, but regardless, I know it's not animal abuse, okay? I'm not gonna go as far as to say it's animal abuse, but I just think it's weird to be having your dog sleep outside at night. But that's not the point of this story, okay? I know people have really strong feelings about me saying that I don't think outside cats should be a thing, which I will never change my opinion about. And I think that working cats and outside cats are very different. Like, some of you had commented that, like, you have cats that, like, work on your farm and stuff. Again, that is very different because they have even, like, working cats that you can adopt at the shelter near my house that are, like, specifically adopted out to be working cats because, like, that's what they're used to. So I think that's different. The barn that I ride horses at, that I take lessons at, they have a little kitten, and she's literally, I'm obsessed with her. Her name is Spooky, and she's only like a few months old. She's probably 4 or 5 months old at this point, and they have like a room, the tack room, and then they have like all her stuff in there, and they lock her in there at night, and then they let her out during the day. So she's like the barn cat or whatever that will, like, I don't even know if she knows how to kill mice yet, but she loves it outside. And like, that's a different story because it's not high traffic. They keep her inside at night, and I want to take her home because she's so cute and I love her so much. It's not even funny how sweet she is. She's the sweetest girl ever. But she climbs trees like all day. She goes into the horses' stalls. She is so fearless. It's actually so funny, but she's just so cute and crazy. But yeah, she gets to explore during the day, and then when they leave the barn for the day, they lock her up in the room at night, which I love that. But anyways, yeah, that's fucked up. I don't know what to say about it. I think that it's fucked up that if they really stole this dog and it's your property, and technically I think that's like them stealing your property. So I do think that they could get in big trouble. But the thing is, if you don't have them microchipped, that's definitely going to be a problem because there's not really a way that you could prove that it was your dog if it's not microchipped. But anyways, someone said, did you ever take the dog to the vet? Did he have any operations or stitches that could be used to verify? OP said, no, we have not. He is a very unique pug, though. Way taller and longer legs than most pugs. Luckily, we have a lot of pictures of him to compare. Why didn't you... What? Sorry, you're just... To me, you're digging yourself a deeper hole by saying you didn't take your dog to the vet. You've never taken your dog to the vet? Huh? That's crazy work. I mean, you at least take your dog for a yearly checkup, no? I take my cats for their yearly checkup and their shots. Like, hello? Someone said, also take your animal to the vet. I hate to sound like an ass, but that's terribly irresponsible of you as a dog owner to have never taken your dog to a vet. The dog needs a checkup once a year. OP said he just turned 1 this month. That's why we haven't. Edit, not sure why I'm being downvoted. We purchased him as a puppy after he was already given his shots and such. You said he needs to be given a checkup once a year. He just turned 1 and my wife was already planning on taking him to get 1 this month. Edit 2, you guys are completely right. As soon as we find him, we will take him to the vet for a checkup, shots, and chip. Appreciate the feedback. Okay, so let's see. This is 2 days later. Update. Here's an update since my last post. My wife got her friend to confront the friend and her boyfriend who they thought took him. They were recording the whole interaction. The friend and her boyfriend pretended they had no idea who my wife was, even though the girl has come over to our house multiple times over the years and is best friends with my wife's sister. Our dog Banjo was at the door when they answered. After my wife's friend confronted them and told them that they were going to get the police involved, they slammed the door in her face. My wife talked to a cop, but was told that they couldn't do anything that night since the couple that took our dog lived in the next by city. My wife gave them the information about it all and gave them the girl's number who took the dog. The cop called her and left a voicemail after she didn't answer. The cop then called my wife and told her to go to their house with the cop on the line. They then acted like they didn't have the dog, even though we just saw the dog when they first confronted them. The cop told my wife to leave the house because the girl wouldn't even come to the door to talk to my wife. The cops told my wife they will call her back once the girl responds to the cop's voicemail. 10 minutes later, the girl who stole the dog texted my wife saying they will give her Banjo back as long as they didn't involve the cops, which is sketchy. They met up with them and got Banjo back while being cussed out for stalking them and finding where they live. Banjo is now home, and I've never seen my wife so happy with tears of joy. As for my wife's sister, who is currently living with us and was a part of this whole process, she's playing dumb and acting like she didn't know about it until a couple of days ago. We will be having a sit-down discussion with her once she gets home, and we'll be giving her an eviction notice on when she needs to be moved out. I will let her know, and we'll be recording the whole conversation as well as writing an eviction notice document. My wife is beyond upset she would be betrayed by her sister, especially after we were only charging her $50 a month for rent with her own bathroom, letting her use our car to get to work, and even feeding her so she could save up for a vehicle for herself. As much as I hate being mean to people, I can't allow her to live with us any longer and will be cutting off letting her use the car today. I just really hope she learns a lesson from this just as much as I have. Thanks to everyone for the advice and opinions. We really appreciate it. Now on to my next update. I've read every comment you guys wrote and I completely agree with you all. First off, I've never really had a dog before because I'm not an animal person, sadly. My wife, on the other hand, is the biggest animal lover I've ever met. She would literally adopt every animal she has come across if she could. I wasn't aware pugs had such issues sleeping outside, even if he slept in an insulated doghouse. Some more background information is we didn't let him sleep outside until 2 months ago. He would be inside all day until around 7 p.m. and sleep in his doghouse. Around this time, the outside temperature was averaging 70 degrees outside. Another piece of information I've learned is my wife has actually given Banjo his worming shots and that tick stuff that you give a dog. We live in a subdivision with a decent-sized gated backyard, so I wasn't worried about animals attacking him. Because of the feedback you guys have given me, I've talked to my wife and we will be making Banjo an inside dog from now on. We will also be making sure he gets taken to the vet and gets all of his shots and checkups. I apologize if I upset anyone about the way that we treated Banjo. I didn't put enough effort into thinking about his sleeping and veterinarian needs. I am currently in the process of potty training our 2.5-year-old son, and I have been putting more effort than anything else in making sure that he is learning and using the potty. So we will be working our hardest to give Banjo the best life that we can. My wife loves him more than anything and treats him as another son. I've honestly never seen anyone love a dog as much as my wife loves and treats Banjo. He's super happy and excited to be home, and my son gave him a big hug as soon as he got here. Thanks again for everyone with all of the help, advice, thoughts, and your opinions. I will work my hardest to make sure we can be the best dog owners we can possibly be. I'm just glad he's home. Thank you guys again. So, people should be sticking up for outside cats like this, I must say, because the double standard is crazy. It's like, you know what's also crazy is that it truly feels like It truly feels like women or cats are like women and dogs are men, because there's like so much more research and so much more stuff, especially stuff and also research about dogs. Like if you go to a like pet store, they always have more dog stuff than they do cats. Most pet stores. And then also the research is all dogs, and that's exactly how it is with men and women. It's like all of the research is about men, and then they just apply that to women as if we are the same when we are in fact not the same. Like we are so different to men, and it would really help if we could like shape the world and society a little bit more around women as well, because we literally have a completely different schedule than them, and the way that we are just expected to follow the schedule of a man when they have a 24-hour cycle. They wake up and they have the same testosterone every single day. It's high, I don't even know, it's high testosterone in the morning or whatever, and then like it goes like down throughout the day, and then it starts over like 24 hours every 24 hours. We have a 28-day cycle, so every day is different for us, and it's like that's why some days we feel really great and some days we don't feel so great, because there's different cycles and different stages of our cycles. And it's like we're still supposed to behave and follow the schedule of a man who wakes up and feels the same every single day. And then we feel guilty because we don't feel that way every morning. Like sometimes I like compare myself to my boyfriend and I'm like, oh, why can't I be like that? And then I'm like, because I have to think and really, because it's so conditioned and like so pressed into our brains that like this is just how it's supposed to be, and this is the right way to live, and like you get up in the morning and this is how you feel, So sometimes I feel bad because I'm like, oh, but I don't feel like that great today, so maybe I want to do this instead. But it's like men can do the same thing every day because they have the same damn fucking feelings and hormones or whatever every day. But I'm no scientist, so. But I know that that's right, so don't even come for me. I'm just like, sometimes it's really annoying. Anyways, I was going to say, love that you got Banjo back. Really glad that you're taking the feedback from people. I'm glad that people are sticking up for the dog and like trying to teach them that that's probably not what you should do with a dog. Keep that same energy for a cat. Sorry. And also, this is just like side note, and I know it's like a little bit judgmental, but I just have to say, and this is not like, I'm not mean to sound mean. I'm going to sound like a bitch, but I feel like if you love animals so much, you would just know not to make them sleep outside at night. But maybe that's just me being like a bitch and like not thinking that obviously everyone has different, a different background, and maybe she does think that's like the right thing to do. But I don't know. I have a hard time believing that like as a grown up, you would think that like you should let your animal sleep outside. And then on the not the contrary, but in the same sentence as that, it's like if you love animals so much, I feel like you wouldn't want your dog to sleep outside, because you'd be like, I want my dog to sleep inside and be really safe and have like the best life ever. Or maybe she thought that was the best thing. Maybe she thought that her dog loved sleeping outside at night. I don't know. I need to not be a judgmental bitch, but it do be kind of making me mad, because it's like, come on, guys, really? You make your dog sleep outside? And it just makes me sad. But all that matters is that they learned from the situation, okay? And they did. So like I can't judge them. I can't be criticizing them, because obviously they took in the information and they used it to the best of their ability, which I love for them. Okay, we're going to move on though to the advice segment of this episode. There is a Google form in the description if you ever feel like leaving me asking for advice, unprofessional, or leaving a confession. You can also leave a confession there. Or you can call 561-264-7017 and leave a confession or ask for advice. Okay? Love you so much. Okay, this is a confession, and it says, okay, this is probably pretty silly compared to the rest of the confessions on here, but here it goes. As you may have heard recently, Nicki Minaj went full MAGA, conveniently at the end of my first year of being in the Barb's community. Nicki has been my idol since I was 12, and while I would feel a little betrayed, I'm not in deep enough to care a whole lot about her as a person. But here's where my confession comes in. I can't make myself stop listening no matter how much I hate Trump and I feel awful. Her community defends her no matter what, which I don't agree with, but I continue to engage anyway because I like having people who like the same thing. I do. I'm also a queer girl and I have kind of a crush on her, which sucks, I know, but this just makes it more complicated. I have such bigger problems right now, but I guess I just needed to get this weight off of my shoulders. I wanted to read that because I have been thinking about how actually insane it is. And my friend, one of my really good friends that's been on this podcast before, Sam, she just recently, not recently, but like last year, I think she went to a Nicki Minaj concert, or within the past year, she's went to a Nicki Minaj concert, and she is also a Barb, and she loves Nicki Minaj, and she's I texted her. I think I was actually the one that broke the news to her because I texted her like when I first saw all of this happening, and I was like, did you see that Nicki Minaj is MAGA? Like, oh my God, that's actually so, I can't believe we lost her. That's crazy because I just would never suspect that, like, Nicki Minaj. I don't know. I just feel like Nicki Minaj, maybe I'm not really like a part of the community or anything. Like, I'm not a Barb, but I don't know why I just feel like Nicki Minaj would be one to be a slay, like, liberal, not like a weirdo MAGA. That's just how I feel. But unfortunately, that's not the case. And the way that she is going in so deep with it is crazy to me. Like, the tweets that she's tweeting and being like, oh my God, this is beautiful. Oh my God, I love the president of the United States of America. Like, you are my idol. I mean, I know she's not saying that verbatim, but like, that's what it's giving. It's giving like she's sucking the fart out of Donald Trump's asshole. And it's so embarrassing. And immediately, as soon as someone is doing that, it truly, like, I can't even control the way that it makes me feel. It just immediately makes me look down on you. It makes me look like, ooh, so you're like a shitty person. So you like don't care about anyone. That's crazy, because what could be the benefit of doing that? Like, what is the benefit of that? I feel like her audience is probably predominantly like people that are not MAGAs, like the opposite of MAGA. I'm sure she has some MAGA fans, but probably not as many anti-MAGA people. Like, I don't know. That's just so crazy to me, and I cannot believe that. But it's really surprising. And unfortunately, I don't support you, Nicki Minaj. I don't like you anymore. Like, really? I just, like, come on. Super Bass, love that song. Not that I listen to it on the daily or anything. And also, it's a really old song. But, like, now every time I listen to some, like, really good songs that Nicki Minaj put out, I'm never going to be able to think about anything other than the fact that she's MAGA. And that's such a disappointment. And it just makes me think that you are like a maggot. Like, you really do. You do. That's what the picture in my head whenever I think of a person that's MAGA. Because it's just like, you're the worst. Whatever. Okay, we're going to read another one. This is another confession. Hi, Jamie. I don't know if you'll read this, but I truly need to get this off my chest. Writing it down might help me process it better and understanding myself a little more. So, my boyfriend, male 21, and I, female 20, are together for almost 3 years. I love him dearly, and to be honest, I feel like I am emotionally dependent on him. Mentally, I am not the best, and a half a year ago, I got diagnosed with borderline. I'm not proud of it, nor does it make my life any better, but it helped me understand that my codependency isn't just a normal people feeling. I tend to be very loving and suddenly hateful towards my boyfriend for no reason. Well, now to the confession part. I truly thought I loved my boyfriend, and I still do. I just got a lot on my mind right now. I tend to get butterflies watching some women on TV or creating fake scenarios with a loving woman instead of my man. It's scary because it feels like I'm living a lie and kind of cheating. I do love my boyfriend, but it might be just for his care and support that I should have felt from my parents a lot more as a child. Maybe the love I feel is more like a brother. And no, I don't have a cheating confession or anything. I just don't see myself breaking up with my boyfriend in the future, as change scares me. And in my mind, we are already married and stuff. I might also just be in a personality crisis or something, but in hindsight, even as a kid, I had many female crushes and didn't like ones my friends liked. So yeah, maybe I will just keep on living that way, as I wouldn't be able to see my boyfriend with someone else because he is the most loving person in the world and I don't ever want to lose him, and he loves me so much as well. It would break his heart. And I love him too. I just don't know if it's the same type of love. Okay, well, that's confession and not advice. But girl, live your truth. I think that you will be so much happier living your truth rather than pushing it down and trying to stay with this person because you love him and like a brother or whatever it is, and because he loves you. Like, I truly think that, especially at the age that you're 20, like, you are so young. This is the time. And let me tell you that your 20s are a very confusing time, okay? Especially when you're early 20s. Like, it's so confusing, and you think like, oh, these are the best years of my life, and that's like what everyone tells you. It's like, I don't think so, because your 20s are so confusing, and it's like when you're 20 and when you're in your early 20s, you're still like a teenager. Like, you're still so like baby, and I still am obviously not saying that I'm like an old like wise owl or anything like that, but I feel so differently. Like, 27 me versus 20 me is literally like 5-year-old me versus like 50-year-old me. That's how I really feel, like, because so much has happened within 7 years. And like when I was 20 years old, like, I literally had no idea who I was. I would think all the time, like, who am I? How would I describe myself to people? Like, how do people look at me? I don't even know how I perceive myself. How do other people perceive me? Who do I want to be? What do I want to be? Like, I was so lost and so confused for so long. And it takes a while. And I thought that it wasn't normal. I was like, why does everyone else like know everything? And like they seem so confident in who they are, and they are who they are. When in reality, that's really not the case. Like, we're all just figuring it out. And I think that's how life is for probably ever. I don't think you're ever 100% solid in everything, because we're just people and we grow and we change every day. But I truly think that like your 20s, like, you figure so much stuff out. I'm still figuring it out. I'm going to look back in like 5 years and be like, wow, 27-year-old me, like, I had no idea what I was doing. And now I'm like so much more confident, so much more this. I know who I am, but I really feel like I know so much more who I am than even like 2-3 years ago. It's like things really change so much, and I think that it's so worth it. And I know that it's scary too. I know change is very scary, and I know that like not being around your comfort person can be very scary as well, especially because of like borderline personality disorder. I know that's just like an extra added challenge on top of it, but I think that it's so important to try to live your truth as soon as possible, and especially because you don't want to go your whole life feeling like this and not knowing like truly how you feel or who you are. Because what if you end up getting out of this relationship, you explore your sexuality, you find out that maybe you're bisexual, maybe you're lesbian, maybe you're whatever the case may be, and then you find out that you're so much happier living as your true self than trying to push down who you really are because you're scared of change and you're scared of breaking up with your boyfriend and you just don't feel like you could see him with someone else. Because I know, trust me, I know. It's like the worst to to try to picture your significant other, someone that you love or someone that you're with someone else. I know. Trust me, everyone's done it. Everyone could tell you, like, especially when you break up, you think, I could never see myself with someone else and I could never see him with someone else. Like, that's going to kill me. But at the end of the day, it's a universal experience. We all go through it and we all come out okay on the other side. And I truly think that, like, you even come out better than ever on the other side. And I think you learn so much about yourself. And I think that it's so worth it too. Take a leap, take a risk to live your true self and find your community and find who you really are and then live that. But yeah, I know that wasn't advice. I know you weren't asking for advice, but I just gave you unsolicited advice because I love you. And I just look at this and, like, it feels like I'm reading like a text from my little sister, even though I've never had a little sister, but I feel like this is probably what it would be. And this is what I would tell my little sister if she asked me or confessed this to me, I guess. But anyways, that's the end of this episode. I love you guys so much, and I hope that you enjoyed. Please let me know what you thought in the comments. I love talking to you guys in the comments, as always. And I'll talk to you in the next episode. Bye. Love you guys. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Storytime Society is now available on all listening platforms. If you are on any of those listening platforms, I would really appreciate it if you rated me 5 stars. Thanks for all the support.